I'm live, but I don't know if I am live right now. So testing, it's been a while since I was on live. Let me see. How are you all doing for the mommies and for the parents out there? I bet it's a busy day here in the morning in America. If you're somewhere out there, Asian country, especially Philippines, how I hope you're having a wonderful good night's sleep. It's been a rough week. There's a lot of going around the world, crazy things happening, uh, politics, beliefs are so divided. People that have a different perspectives, and if someone doesn't agree, they they attack you, or they just want you to switch your side because they believe what they're right. For me, I have my own belief and I stand firm, and I will not use that against the people that doesn't agree with me. You know, that when you want people to enjoy a conversation with you, we need to be respectful to them too, right? Who would want to have a healthy conversation when your own perspective is being attacked? I mean, we have a reason, and if our reason is not something that will hit their own ego, and even if it does, that's okay because that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. And with so much happening around the world, it's ridiculous, right? That we have to lose some friends, have to lose even a family member just because they don't agree what we agree, what we want. Anyway, I don't see anyone available right now for a discussion, but I just like to share everybody that my journey as a mother, as a Filipina, it's not something that's so common for everyone to do this, especially people coming from my country when it comes to getting services for your kid that has special needs. And one of my journey is that after the getting the diagnosis is how do I get help on this when someone get diagnosis and it's a matter of life and death. Doctors are coming to you the options, how you can be treated and how you can get better. But when your kid have diagnosis, after you spoke to the doctor will give you a paper. Hi, thanks for coming to my live. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I just wanna chat and share my journey as a mother and how this world is going crazy for everyone and what do you think about it. I just wanna remain respectful on your viewpoints and my perspective too. So okay, so this is what's happening is when your kid get diagnosis like autism, a doctor will not tell you immediately this is the treatment, you take this medicine, you get the papers, and then when you get the papers it says there the guidelines, your child's gonna need this and this, but there's no direct referral who you're gonna talk to, who are these people. So you go back to your primary pediatricians, and then after you tell to your primary pediatrician, they're gonna tell you, okay, so who's the speech therapist you want? Who's the OT you want? Have you contacted this? And you parent, especially coming from a different country, are so lost about it. You'll be wondering, okay, first I just moved here in California at that time, and I wasn't used to driving in California. Now I have to find and figure out what is the meaning of autism. And then the doctor, the diagnosis will just tell you, yeah, it's confirmed, he has this and that after all those assessments. But the doctor is not your private consultant that anytime you can ask for. But then you know what? You did the right thing when you get the diagnosis, when you choose to have your child be seen by a specialist. Because a lot of parents are so, what do you call that? Um, there's a term with that, cannot process easily when there's a diagnosis, because we all fear with that diagnosis they will not be treated fairly. They they will be treated differently, and the worst part is the world can be cruel to them and you can't control it. But why do we choose to let that fear overpowering us? We have to choose to learn for them. We are the voices of our kid that are in needs of supports. So day and night after the diagnosis, I was reading, I was researching, I was looking for groups. A lot of the clinics step in because once that diagnosis is written there, they'll start helping you. Okay, let's evaluate, and these are the goals that we can work on. And you parents doesn't know the process. You just like let them. Okay, all right. You let them do their job based on their assessments, and we didn't know exactly yet what's happening. So our role at the time is to learn and to bring them what were the challenges. For many years, my son, I was driving him for speech therapy, occupational therapy, then going to ABA, and then you get services at the school too. But then I didn't know what is IEP. You just sit down there, and then next thing I know, they said that my son will go to a different school because that school has services. But I did not have an opportunity to ask why can't the services be in this school. Nothing at all, because I didn't know what is IDA, means Individual with Disability Education Act. I'm sorry, I hope I said the right word. Please bear with me, English is my second language, but I can so IDA is the law that protects the kids with um, disability, especially if you are qualified under those diagnoses when the school assessed you. Then you get to have this IEP contract where it states there the people involved. There's always a gen ed, a special education teacher, and then administrator, and then the service provider that's going in the table. On top of that, you were asked also on your paper when you get diagnosis, what are the resources outside? And that's when we have here Department of Developmental Services in our states that I believe they contracted the agency called Regional Center. Now, Regional Center is the one going to assist for all the services that your kid that has diagnosis to obtain services in the community. Because back when I was born, before I came here, before I become American citizen, a lot of parents fought the rights of these people to have been taken care in their home instead of in an institution. Of course, we want to take care of them in an institution, and you know why? We're saving a lot of taxpayers' money. Imagine if they are in the institution, how much are they charging the insurance? And every penny is coming from the taxpayers. And aside from that, parents, family that takes her home, even though as a caregiver we get paid, those overtimes doesn't get paid. It's round the clock. So instead of keeping them in an institution, they place all of these agencies to provide help. So they remain in the community. And I know some people said that, there's a debate that they should have an institution. But first, you know what? Do you really think that every institution has really proper care to? They were overworked to these people. Um, the problem is when services in the community were restricted and the funding was not given properly to the people that deserves to receive them, or they misinterpret the law. This is the problem. If it's not being received in the community, now we got a problem. Where's the money going? And then that's when the parents like us started to have our own advocacy. We're not an activist, but we express that if this was part of the law that protects them, that they need to serve this, that should go to them. And where are they? I have shared this for the people like me, Filipinos, or people that are not from here, that there's a lot of laws there that protect our kids to receive services, to learn those skills, to live as normal as they can. And I am sorry if this is really a long journey, but the only way we can do that is we have to speak and not be scared of. We need to be the voice of our kid that can't speak up in order for them to be accepted and live a life that is not ostracized, excluded. And also, we have also help here for, like, if we don't understand the language, we get interpreter here. That's part of the taxes that we are paying off. A lot of Filipinos that I spoke, they felt like this is so stressful, that this is so hard. It is. If the journey is hard. But you can only do this while you are still here. And then if you have a future plan that you found a place where you didn't have to do this, you didn't have to rely on the government help, because if you can afford it, why fight? If you're not paying so much taxes, if you're not paying so much rent, and you're even just making less money, even if you're getting help, it's not even enough. Like right now, my son is getting EBA services to our insurance. Now the problem is his copay, every copay, they could not charge the secondary insurance under the state because the company says they're not a vendor of the secondary. Now I have to ask for another agency to step in and help for a copay. Now this is the challenge, is the process of agreeing to it. There's a lot of steps that they're gonna ask you. You have to provide this, even though the law says it must not delay. But that's how it is. I guess that we have to prove, if we have to prove, such as the goals, that you're working on. Remember, the goals are so important for you to get the services. Now, sometimes parents' goals are very relevant because you see it, but sometimes they disagree. They don't want those goals. And so I challenge them and say, if you didn't want this kind of goals, I'd like to see it in a written and what laws that it says that these goals are not going to be funded because this is against of this. Because you cannot challenge the law that was in place or the policy that was in place by the insurance. But then if you understand it, or you ask around, that it actually look like this is related to the what the law that protects them, you can explain to them better. Or if you have to go to the route where there's also appeal, you have to do that. You don't need a lawyer. You will win, you will lose. But of course, a lot of times, winning for me is that before we get there, they work with with me and my husband to provide it to Aldrin. Even it's not fully. We negotiate in the middle, and then if it doesn't work and can't get along, we don't want to waste time, the time of each other. We don't want to waste the taxpayers' money for all of this going to the court and then only to go back again and said, let's discuss. But yeah, that's how the process. If you have any questions, how to navigate the services for your kids that have special needs, and especially if they have medical diagnosis, I can just say is that starts with your insurance and find out what are the services that they're covering, because anything that they will offer is going to help. Now, as you go in this long journey of you will learn, you'll see the services doesn't fix them immediately, but it progresses them. It helps them until the doctor it says that he's never gonna get better. There's no services that would help them. But as long as that you receive that services and it's ongoing and there's other part that is helping him, don't stop. The only way that I stopped before is because let's say OT was so late. The ABA before was coming here and I have to pick him up from the school, and that is losing his time from the school. So I have to consider all of those, and then you negotiate it with the company, and then it all goes to how do you let them know that this is what's working for your kid and not working. And then there you go, you let them do their job and you participate. They require me to join the training, which is an insurance requirement. Back before, it wasn't. A lot of parents didn't want to do that because a lot of them are working and they don't have much time. All they want is that this services should be direct to them. But why is it that it's now a requirement for us to do this? And then you give these goals to the parents, and then the parents has to implement these goals. But then are you telling us that as a parents and not a specialist, if we can't see a progress on our child, is it my fault now that I could not do this, given the fact that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a specialist? Are you gonna say that this long-term goals are only a role of parents? If the kid doesn't progress, kid is not gonna get better. But that was implemented by the parents. But wouldn't you agree that it should be done by the experts because parents are different compared to the experts. So that's a lot of things to process in as a mom that's been in this journey since my son was his assessment was 3 years old. And I am happy that I gain all of these wisdoms, and happy to other families when I hear other families struggling and I share with them. I truly understand when they decide to just, I'm not gonna deal with it, I'm just gonna do a different route, and which is good too. What works and not works. But I met a lot of friends. I have a good advocate. She's an American advocate. She taught me to be firm and what is my right, even though we have different views when it comes to politics. She's still protecting my child. She cares for my child, and I'm proud of her. Her name is Marsha Hesh, and she has an Instagram. She's a great advocate. She's not for the money, but she's more of parents empowering, and I could never, be forget how much America have helped me, especially meeting great people that has been there to help me. Um, Americans have taught me to stand up for my belief. Do not be afraid. If this is what you believe, go for it. And as a Filipina, I learned a lot of patience. I learned a lot of understanding. But when it comes to being firm and do not bend your uh, perspective or give away your principles of just to make others right. I did learn that a lot in here in America, and so those two cultures are really great. That I'm happy to experience them. But that's all for now. I don't see anyone on live, but instead of filming it, I just share it with you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you. And I'm gonna go for now, and we'll start cleaning, doing some scrubbing of our bathroom, and then checking emails, and maybe looking forward to see everyone later. And we'll upload some more videos later. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye bye.